Hello, 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 hello. My name's Tamara Yelena, and I'm hosting this week's episode of Curtain Call on Fab Collab Live. And every week on Curtain Call, we feature a different woman, identifying female performing artist in the art scene. And this week, we're so happy, hey Leah, we're happy to feature, hola Cassandra, featured last week, Walid, what's up, man? And this week we're featuring Sofí Gudiño, an incredible dancer. I've known her, since she was a little kid, which people used to say about me, so now it's my turn. And I've worked a lot with her aunt, Gudiño, now that who was my teacher when I was a kid. And she's just a beautiful artist. Hola a todos. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining this week's episode of Curtain Call. Hi, everyone. I see everyone's excited to hear from today's artist, Sofí Gudiño. So we're just waiting for her to join. But basically, she's a dancer based here in Toronto, and she does all sorts of different styles of dance. We worked together a few years ago on a beautiful project called Miigwech, which means thank you in Ojibwe, and that was also a project with two other Fab Collab artists that we featured. The very first curtain call was with Aline Morales, who was part of that project Miigwech. We'll post a link in our bio to that project, and it basically featured 7 women from different indigenous descents throughout the Americas coming together with voice, drum, and dance. And it also featured Cody Harper, who was part of our last Women in Song, and it featured Sofí Gudiño, who just joined us. Hola, Sofí. Welcome. So here she is. We're just gonna let her request to join, and almost. So for those of you who want to check out our previous Curtain Call episodes, they're all live on our Fab Collab Live Instagram, and they're under our IGTV section. And you can go there. We've been going strong since November, and Leah and myself have been co-hosting alternating weeks with some incredible artists and people in the industry. So you should really go and check them out. And here we go. I'm very excited about today's guest artist, and I believe it's her first. Oh, my hair is so long. COVID hair, yeah. Hey! What's up, Sofí? Hola, hola.
Hola, nice to see you.
You too. I'm so happy.
Yes, me too.
How's it going?
Good. I've got my coconut water.
Oh, I see. That's what was going on. Awesome. There's Analia, and I know Ben is addicted to coconut water, so if he's watching, he'll be so happy. When we go on tour, everyone's like grabbing a drink. He's like, I need my coconut water.
Yeah, I find I get like so sweaty. Dancer problems. Sweaty in the summer, and from like workouts or just like rehearsals in general. And I often I'll put coconut water in my water bottle that I take with me. So fancy.
That's a good idea. You are fancy. Hola, Analia. She says hi, babes. Don't worry, we'll be talking about you too today, Analia. So happy you're here. So, Sofí, first of all, what's up? Where are you? Where are you calling from? Or I'm calling you really, but where are you answering from?
I'm in my sweet little paradise nest in the Junction, Toronto.
Nice.
Yeah. Moved here in March, and
this March?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
How'd you move in a pandemic? That's crazy.
Do not recommend. It was so stressful, but thankfully nothing was broken or lost.
Oh my God.
And settling into this new neighborhood has just been awesome. And so
nice.
Yeah, it's been like a hit a refresh button for me in the pandemic, which has been great.
Good. I think we all need that. Maybe I should move too.
Oh my God.
Never mind. That face says it all. Not doing it. Yusuf says he's just passing through and hope you're doing well, homie. Yeah.
Love you, Yusuf.
Hi, Yusuf. Thanks for passing through. Come back. We'll be here for a little bit chatting about Sofí's upcoming debut, premiere, and many other things. So first of all, tell us, a bit about Sofí Gudiño. I know, but not everybody knows. What do you do? What is your passion? What do you work? Well, to get to what you're working on after. What do you do? What do you love?
I love dancing and eating. Probably my primary 2 loves of my life.
Those go so well together.
Yeah, a typical tourist. I mean, I love, yes, I'm a flamenco dancer and a contemporary dancer, and I
Ole.
enjoy creating work that is like experimental and doesn't take itself
Mhm.
like too seriously. um, I also am a queer artist, and I work a lot within, yeah, like bringing queer stories and identities onto the stage. And yeah, in 2014, I founded Inamorata Dance Collective, which is kind of like the home for my creative works.
Mhm.
And so that's been going really well. And we have kind of like a rotating roster of collaborators,
Mhm.
depending on like the scope of the project and what it is that we're trying to create at the time. But basically, people from different backgrounds, whether it be classical dance, classical music, or street dance, contemporary dance, other indigenous like Latino or Latinx instruments and music forms, kind of inform the work in conversation with flamenco. That was a really, really
Ole.
long sentence. I've had one coffee this morning, so
Only one.
forgive me.
Always forgive. Nothing to forgive. Nothing to forgive, Sophie. I asked who you are, so there you go. So has it been, oh my God, 7 years already since you founded Inamorata? That's wild.
Yeah,
Congratulations. That's
thank you.
incredible. So
It's
go
my
check that out.
baby.
Everyone make sure to go check out previous works by Inamorata, Sophie's, company that she founded. That's amazing. Disco Invierno. Oh, I do like that name. Love you, Sophie.
Yeah.
Yes, we all agree. Love you, Sophie, with a
Love
coffee.
you too.
Hey, Mom. Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining. That's so awesome. So there we go. So, Sophie, your artistic background is in flamenco and contemporary, you said?
hmm
So how did that start? Let's hear about that.
Sure. Well, I have been dancing flamenco since I was a kid. I grew up watching my aunt Ilse Gudiño performing on stage, and honestly, like it's one of my first memories of literally being alive is
Wow.
watching Esmeralda's show down at the Fleck, like the harbor front. I don't even think it was called the Fleck at that point. It was so long ago.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing her on stage and hearing the sounds and like the colors and being like that's what I am.
That's like exactly what happened to me. Like
Yeah, I'm like
100%.
that's exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. That's who I am. And I didn't even know how to speak, I don't think. I like it's my first literally my first memory. And then my
Wow.
grandfather, her dad, would like lift me up on the stage and would give her flowers. And so I
Oh.
remember like my parents had me when they were quite young, and so my Thea was also really young and
Hmm.
dancing, and she
Hmm.
was like the most exciting person to be around. I was so in love with
Hmm.
flamenco through her eyes, right? Anyways, so I studied a little bit as a child, and then took breaks when we couldn't make dance classes happen, and
Hmm.
then I literally Googled. I was in this is ridiculous. I was 16 years old. I was in grade what is that, grade 10. I Googled Toronto hiring dancers because I didn't want to get a crappy summer job. I wanted like a job as a dancer, and I'm like,
Yeah.
damn it, I can do this. Like I can go get a job as a dancer. So I Googled it, and one of them was a call out auditions for the Izmailova Theater of Dance, which is a like contemporary dance company founded by Maria Izmailova, looking for performers from like any sort of background to come and audition for a physical theater play. So I went to the audition and I danced. I think I might have danced like the Sevillanas for her or something. And at this point, I was also doing
Classic.
this classic, right? Where we met, yes, Emily. And then at the Ismailova Theater of Dance. And then I sang her a song. At that point, I was also doing some vocal training.
Yes.
So I think I sang her something from The Sound of Music. Anyways, then she taught me a choreography that I performed. Long story.
I
I've never
love this.
danced contemporary dance in my life. She asked me to come and join the company on the condition that I would come an hour before everybody else and do like the
Wow.
basic ballet stuff with her. And
Ah.
so Murray like really invested in me. Ended up getting the lead role in that project,
Ole,
and
ole.
which was like crazy. And I fell in love. I mean, like I absolutely fell in love with contemporary dance. I got to roll around on the ground. I had a pas de deux duet style thing. so I got to get lifted into the sky, and it just like, I always describe it as it kind of like tripled my vision for like what I could do with dance.
Right.
You know, like if flamenco was happening here, all of a sudden I could be here and here as well. Like, well, literally like on the ground and then in the air. So that's kind of like been the basis of just what I've been curious about in taking flamenco. I mean, I tried to do just contemporary dance and it didn't feed my soul, you know. I needed flamenco. Like it was that call that I had when I was a child, and
I love that so much. The levels that you described, because it's literally what it is, both physically 100%. And spiritually, I imagine.
Totally. And I think since having gone to Spain a couple times and study with like the flamencos there that are working in a little bit more contemporary contexts, of course, it's not just here. Like, it's really not that limited whatsoever. It's such an extensive art form, and so that's like a limited metaphor for sure. But I think just in terms of like adding to the physical vocabulary that I've chosen to use over the past few years, like floor work and lift work are like chef's kiss to me. I love to watch it. I love to do it. It's like, who doesn't like rolling around on the floor
and being thrown up in the air?
Come on! Like if somebody was like, come on, I'm gonna do the dirty dancing like lift with you. Let's go. Like, you wouldn't just want to. You would 100%.
Oh no, I would 100% do it. I've done it. Yeah. Can't say no to that. Can't say no to that. It's on.
You can't.
The answer is always yes.
Always.
You just mentioned that you went to Spain a couple of times. Can you tell us a little bit about that experience? Like, what's that like, you know, compared to studying flamenco here and then going there?
Oh my gosh. It was what a gift.
Because I can tell you, I cried every day when I first went to flamenco school.
I don't think it was.
I know nothing.
No. I think I always describe flamenco as like the more you know, the less you know. And I think that's why people are so in love with it. Because mastery is basically impossible. It's so complex, and I think that's why we all love it so much. Is because it's constantly growing, constantly something to learn more about. Look, I mean, I think like definitely. I think a lot of dancers that grew up in traditional dance forms will relate to this. There's a glass ceiling when it comes to studying a traditional form and the geography that it didn't originate in, for sure. And so going to Spain, I realized just like how little I knew. And not only did I cry every day, like it wasn't just like tears coming out of my face, it was like sweat coming out of my body. I think it was like 6 or 7 like pairs of dance clothes I would go through in a day. You could literally like go like this with them. Oh my God, which is like such a satisfying thing when you work with your body to like get to use it to the full extent. And flamenco is such a brain puzzle to figure out too, trying to understand how to weave in and out of different rhythmic patterns. It was amazing. I mean, I studied mostly with Ursula Lopez, who has like a classical background in ballet as well. Mm-hmm. And so the things that she, like, her choreographies are a little bit quirky. She's not really for everybody. She's very intense teacher who I absolutely adore. But I loved the way, for example, like when I was interested in more, again, contemporary is kind of like a limited word, but like a more contemporary forms of flamenco movement, because of her background in ballet and flamenco, it was easily like translated into what I knew about contemporary dance. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Well, not easily, okay. But I understood what she was trying to
But you could line them up, yeah, because
I could line them up and try my absolute best.
Mm-hmm. So do you, like, I want to ask, that kind of leads perfectly into my next question. Also, Analia says, as long as somebody catches me. Okay, I hear you. I
will always catch Analia.
There you go. Done. Resolved.
Problem solved.
I think I see another piece coming. I think I see a collaboration. So that was my next question, is like, how do you combine those two maybe seemingly opposite forms in your own personal work? I'm sure you've been asked this before, but it's always an interesting question.
Well, At first, it started with collaboration. Like when I founded the Namorada Dance Collective, I worked with other contemporary dancers. Yeah. And so I learned a lot from what they had to offer. I think also, like, as a young person starting my own company, I had absolutely no resources. And sometimes even like no resources to go to class. Like, we don't talk about how expensive dance is. And I haven't been able to like study full-time flamenco and full-time contemporary dance. It's impossible. Not only split your dance funds in half, but also like your time and your body, your energy, right? So I worked a lot with collaboration and learning in kind of like that collective creation technique and sharing what I knew about flamenco and sharing what I knew about contemporary dance. And then honestly, I don't know, maybe it's because I grew up watching the shows. Like, I had seen flamenco in its form, or the form that like Esmeralda presented, for example, for so long, that as soon as I found contemporary dance, I was like, oh my gosh, I could go from this into this. And it became just like a genuine curiosity.
Right, it's just who you are, really.
Yeah, it's just who I am.
Does anybody ever tell you like you're not flamenco enough, you're not contemporary enough? I get that in my singing sometimes. Like, I mean, you know, when I mix styles.
I'm sure those are definitely like inside voices that I have.
I mean, we always have those.
Yeah, that has. I don't think anybody's ever like directly said that to me.
Good.
I don't think that that's an offensive thing either. At least in my own work. I mean, like, I don't aim to be, you know, flamenco puro. I don't aim to make contemporary dance, and I certainly don't aim to make fusion dance. Like, I just move with the data that I have, you know. And I love that. I choose to draw from these two art forms. Okay, well, first of all, like, contemporary dance is not like a consolidated, or I don't mean it in like I just mean in terms of like floor work and lift work, which happen in all different types of dance forms. But yeah, I just want to make dance in its own right. That's,
you know what, I'm totally gonna quote you on that. I just move, or I just sing with the data that I have. Yeah, that's like perfectly said. And Aaliyah agrees. And Leah says,
totally.
You're looking for flamenco puro, some Manuela Rios. Oh yeah, I've studied with her too. Yeah. There's just so many good artists to study with. Hey Kunal, flamenco in India. Kunal joining us from India. Ole ole! We'll have to do a cross-continental collaboration of all the Fab Collab flamencos. That would be pretty cool.
Oh my god.
Leah, you down? I know you're down.
So obviously.
Aw, thanks, Kunal. So tell us, like, what, I think dance has been, like, the hardest hit, I think. Like, even worse than singers. Singers, we can sing from home pretty easily. Well, you know, relatively easily. But how on earth do you survive as a dancer during these times? Like, what do you do?
Bro. At first, I did nothing.
Sorry for the questions.
No, it's okay. At first, I did nothing. I watched a lot of my peers like transfer their practice online, sharing choreographies on TikTok and little bite-size workout from home stuff on their Instagram and stuff like that. And I thought that was amazing, but it was just not for me. I mean, I think a lot of people, I think the transition was difficult for a lot of people and more organic for others, and I really struggled. So I left social media for a year. I just rejoined a couple weeks ago.
Oh, perfect. Welcome back.
Thank you. Yeah, it was an amazing break. You don't realize just how much, I mean, like, social media has always been a tool for me to like get my work out there. Yes, and there was nothing to get out there. So I was like, why am I doing all this work?
Yeah.
So that's great. I danced from home a little bit, would move furniture to the side, roll around when I could. But for the first bit, there was nothing. And then now, I mean, I have a studio that I can rent and go into by myself, which has been huge. Wow. Obviously, you know, as a flamenco dancer, like, I can't put on my shoes at home. I live in an apartment building. And yeah, and beyond that, just like taking a Zoom class and dance is like one of the most frustrating experiences.
And rhythm is like impossible. It's the worst.
Impossible. I take one samba class a week with a trainer in Rio. And
wow, cool. That's the cool part. That's the cool part of the pandemic.
That's definitely the cool part, and so I definitely like have enjoyed that. But oh my goodness, like you have to kind of internalize and pretend the music is just in your head, because if you focus on what's coming out of the speakers on your computer, it's like
impossible.
While an instructor is like yelling, instructions.
Oh my God, that's awesome though. That's so cool. No. That's really awesome, because then you can go later, hopefully in person, and then go study with them in real life, right? Oh, now you've developed these connections. That's incredible. Yeah. So I want to ask you, because you said that you are also a queer artist that incorporates that into your practice and incorporates stories. Can I ask you what you mean by that? Like what stories, how do you incorporate them? How do we experience them as an audience? Yeah, I'd love to know.
Well, I think at first I was trying to look at showing like queer romance in duet form. Mm-hmm. And now what I'm working on is a little bit more like akin to drag. So I've been like looking at gender performance in flamenco specifically, because flamenco is so intense, and it's so like, I mean, obviously flamenco is so intense, and it can be, I think, almost like easily caricaturized, and I think that it is kind of like, drag work a little bit.
Wow, I've never heard that before. Tell us more.
I think it's like drag. I'll explain. Because first of all, we put on these crazy, enormous costumes. We put on our like faces,
like the combs, yeah.
And then we give ourselves names. It's like a
La Sofí.
Yeah, you guys are like a stage persona, and I'm like caricaturizing this a little bit as if it's a funny thing, but it's also not. It's like very serious, and I feel it, like I enter it when I go on stage, and so definitely, on the femme side of flamenco, when I'm putting on my huge dresses and my flowers, and I mean I have short hair, as you can see, so I'll put on extensions or a wig or whatever for a lot of commercial work. And I love it. I'm like, oh, here I am, flamenco queen.
So cool.
And now I'm exploring it on the other side, which is as like a performing masculinity in flamenco, which is also very, very stylized, and
yeah, totally.
And I have a lot to learn. I've only ever studied with women. I would love to work with a male dancer, but there's a lot of stuff like in the furuka or whatever, where they go down to the knee, go down to the floor, where I'm like, oh my god, this could work so easily with the things I'm interested in transitioning into floor work.
So cool.
And
you just blew my mind with this comparison. I see everything like so differently now until forever.
It's like, that's the beauty of queer art, is it adds another lens to look at everything through.
It's so cool. I absolutely love it. Are you gonna do it like oh my god, can I just Pride is coming up now, and like I just want to see like a flamenco Pride float, like actually I want to be on that float.
I mean, I've performed at Pride yearly since like 2014, and I first debuted my like drag king act
so awesome
in 2018 in Kitchener Waterloo, and it was so much fun.
Oh my god.
In general, like, queer audiences are the best audiences of all, because they're just they're used to yelling, giving basically in flamenco, which is like
jaleo. Yeah,
and they're
true.
Like yelling and encouraging you. It's in a bar setting, like it's just a lot more like the flamenco and energy that I felt, where people are like so excited, so like leaning in, have a drink in their hand, casualness, blah blah blah.
I wonder, and this is pure speculation on my part, but I wonder if these similarities, if there's some correlation to the fact that they both come from like very marginalized communities. I have no idea, because I've never thought of these comparisons before, but it's just pure speculation. I don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I don't know. I think one of the reasons that I love flamenco, because we're talking about like gender performance, right? One of the reasons that I love it is like, as a woman or as a feminine person, I can be strong and powerful. I can have this whole other
Mm-hmm.
list of traits. So while it is really still like a very gendered art form, it also kind of isn't. And I think that the translation between like masculine and feminine body forms, dances, whatever in flamenco is almost like less complicated than we think. I mean, like it's very common to be in classes with like all different types of genders wearing the bata.
Totally.
Right.
And I often tell my students that there is no, they ask me a lot because I guess they're used to like partner dances, and they're like, well, which side is like for which person and stuff like that. I'm like, it doesn't matter. You can use any step with any gender, especially now. I mean, before, back in the day, like, 100 years ago, 80 years ago, maybe, women would probably wear like dresses and do more like hand stuff, and men would probably do more footwork. Not that it was like a law or a rule. It was just more common, but I find like that's being broken decades ago, So.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, like even with costumes, it's not uncommon to see women in pants or whatever.
Definitely
so
women in pants.
I'm really
and men have been wearing shawls now.
Yeah.
Actually, Leah says, did you see the show Viva by Manuel Linian? All male cast dressed in traditional women's flamenco attire.
It's an amazing show. I have not seen it. It was sold out when I was in Spain last.
All right. Because that's pretty cool. Yeah, it's been this is the best. Like men wearing like batas and wearing mantones and everything. Like, why not? Why not?
I know. And they're
why not?
so amazing. What I did see, I can't remember the name of the show. Remember when we were doing the Toronto International Flamenco Festival with my aunt? This was way back. Rafaela Carrasco was like the headliner for the show, and she had an all-male backup dancer cast, and a one piece with all of them shirtless in batas, and they were like,
oh yeah,
amazing. At the end of the day, it's just that it's that uncommon.
It's an accessory for your art form, really, at the end of the day. Yeah. Okay, I just have to say that, Kunal, you're amazing that you've been decided to do paramedic the first half of the day and the studio in the second half of the day. That's incredible. What a crazy thing to be doing during these times in India. Like, all I can say is like, thank you. I don't know. I feel like saying thank you for just being so beautiful and helpful. And Cassandra, how do you practice dance in Toronto if all the studios are closed? How are you? Did you rent a private space, I guess?
Yeah, I have because I'm working on a film right now.
Oh yeah, that's our next topic.
Yeah, but before that, I was in residency at Dance Maker, so even though they were close to rentals from other people, I was still able to access the space.
Nice. Is there access to the show? Well, we don't know. Online, the Viva show. We'll post it if we find it. So, yeah, tell us, Sophie, what are you working on? What's coming up?
Well, funny you should ask. I made a short film in November.
What?
Yes, we shot a short film in November as a culmination of like my few years in residency at Dance Makers. And originally it was supposed to be on the stage in May, and then it was supposed to be on the stage in November, and now we have a little film.
Okay, yeah.
Which is fantastic, and it's coming out May 28th to 30th online. We're going to live stream it.
Say that again. What date is it coming out?
May 28th to 30th. We have
May 28th to 30th. So you have to register. I'm going to tell you guys, you have to register. It's free. You do have to register, right? So we'll post the link. It's going to be in our bio immediately after this interview. Sorry, there's a delay. Go ahead.
That's okay. You got to register to receive the link. The tickets are free, but once you get the link, it's a live stream to YouTube. And we definitely recommend, casting it to your TV if you have that ability, watching it on your laptop under the blankets at home, cozying up with some wine, whatever it is that you need to feel like comfortable in watching a show. I thought about this a lot because I've seen people, disseminate online, and I didn't want it to be like online forever. I still wanted that romance of a show. So like you watch it and then it's gone, right? You have your memories of it. So
I like that.
Very happy to go with the live streaming route, and I hope that people enjoy it as a way to, experience some of my work.
Yeah. What is it called?
It's called Sola. It's called Sola, and it's a 20-minute short film about being alone. And it's a solo work by myself, featuring music by Analia.
Ole!
Ole Analia! By the beautiful Analia and Benjamin Barile. They both composed and did sound design, pardon me, respectively, on a couple pieces throughout.
Amazing.
Roya del Sol is a fantastic director and cinematographer to the piece. And yeah, it's co-produced by myself and of course dance makers, and we got to work with their fantastic team on like bringing this all to life, which I absolutely could not have done by myself. I mean, I'm very comfortable self-producing for stage. Like I'm sure, as you know, Tamar, you have like really, really similar experiences. But oh my God, working to create and share a film, which I have like maybe would have never done if we weren't in the situation right now, has been such a learning curve, and people were so supportive, and yeah, it was an exceptional effort, and I'm really proud of what's come through.
I'm so impressed by people who do masterpiece solo works. It's like insane to me. Like it's crazy. It's so much.
It is insane. I don't know that I recommend it. I think I ended up being kind of lucky though, because it was less difficult to wrap my head around a solo piece in the pandemic than it would have been like an enormous group work with tons of physical contact. So definitely there were like pros to that.
Can't imagine.
You know?
Yeah, so everyone's saying they can't wait. Well, I feel exactly the same. But you better register because it's only 4 times that you can possibly see it in your life. So,
Yeah.
Make sure to register. I think I'm seeing it Sunday night. I can't remember which one I chose. But I'll see it with all you people. Thanks for the 1000th time of having me, says Analia. Yeah, go check it out because now there's 2 Fab Club artists in there. Actually, technically 3 because Ben is part of our Women in Song house band. You know, you need allies and supporters everywhere you go. So you guys, everyone go check it out. Like I said, we'll post the link. I'm so stoked. I'm so excited. I'm so proud of you. I feel like I get to be of the age now where I'm like, I knew you since you were a little kid dancing. And when people said to me all the time, and I'm like, it's my turn. I can say it now. So, yay. Yeah. Okay. Analia has a great question. What is Sola about for you, Sophie?
Oh my goodness.
Uh-oh.
No, I love this question. Thank you for asking, Analia. For me, Sola is about finding what it took for me to be comfortable being by myself.
Oh goodness.
And I think, you know, there are 3 scenes in the film, and there are 3 kind of but peeking into little windows of people that are by themselves alone. And there are many different ways to be alone. You know, there can be boredom, there can be, you know, absolute ecstasy, and, you know, not having to put on your towel after you get out of the shower. Like, no,
always good times.
Always a good time. There can be, you know, abandonment. You can be alone because somebody passed away. You can be alone because, you know, somebody has left you and like taken everything, whatever. There are so many different reasons that we can be in that state. Mm-hmm. And I went through a lot of them lumped into a very short period of time a couple of years ago. And when I came out of it, I had this kind of like transformational night back in 2018 where I had come out of the torturous part of being alone. Like I absolutely hated to be alone with my own thoughts. And for whatever reason that night, the flip switched, right? And I experienced this like absolute luxury, this like safety in the little apartment that I lived in by myself. Mm. And it was a huge like value shift that is very difficult to describe, which is why I think that I dance about it. And I think I think that it was just such an enormous topic like to tackle. Obviously, like I'm struggling to find words about it now, even though I've worked on it for so many years. In the process of creating Sola, which I didn't create it by myself, is the reality, right? Because there's so many other people that contributed to it. So, I intentionally sought that at the beginning. I invited some close friends and community members to come in and interview with me by themselves. And I recorded them telling their stories about being alone. And we had stories that ran like the whole spectrum of
Wow.
what I just touched on. And I would listen to these stories by myself in the studio and use it to, you know, see where I could see my reflection, because of course, like, we're alone, but we're also not. Like, you're a solitary microcosm in like a huge huge ecology or whatever, right? So it was important for me to like touch base with the community, touch base with the people that I value and care about, and get their perspectives as well. And then I worked on it for a few years, and yeah, was able to kind of hone in on these 3 little chapters of aloneness.
Wow.
Ultimately, like, the ending that I proposed in my little work is the luxury of it, is the bliss of it, is the my little like solitary gospel, basically. Like, you are absolutely, like, I just cannot recommend enough to people, like, spending time by themselves. That doesn't have to be in silence. You know, you can blast your favorite music and cook yourself your absolute favorite dinner and dress up for yourself, you know, like, if you definitely like giving yourself. I feel like the word like self-care has been like really co-opted in a very like commercial way right now, but in an authentic way. Like, self-care can be like taking yourself to the dentist, or like, you know, paying your taxes, or filing for divorce. Okay, like, self-care can be like a lot of different things. It's not always like going to the spa. Well, that is one of my favorite things to do when the world is not in pandemonium. But
gotta be real.
Yeah, right. You gotta be real, and some of it. Most of it, like, what I need for self-care when I'm spending time by myself is like really difficult stuff. It's like really, really difficult to do in terms of processing things, or yeah. So it's a very meaningful piece, and it is really about being alone. Obviously, when I first started creating it, I had no idea how relevant that kind of topic would be.
Seriously, come on, that's some crazy foresight
coming into the pandemic. So obviously there's the like divinity in that, and I think like it's funny because even though I went through that own little like chrysalis a couple years ago, into finding the bliss, like, I feel like I literally just went through it again, condensed in like another 10 months. You know,
and we'll probably go through it many more times in our lifetimes, in different
100,000%.
But it sounds like you've laid some good foundational work for your future self.
For sure. I mean, I feel very lucky. Like, there were a lot of circumstances that were totally out of my control that led to me being in that first little cocoon of aloneness, and I'm so grateful for that. You know, because I feel like that has really contributed to, it's like a little toolkit that I can open up and access when I need to.
It sounds like a pretty big toolkit. You keep saying the word little, and I'm like, that doesn't sound little at all to me. Like, years of work on the hardest topic.
I mean, in the grand scheme of things, like.
Yeah, I hear you. But it also sounds like it fits really well into the themes of what we've been talking about, like, you know, turning pain into beauty. The drag community, the queer communities, and so much marginalization and hatred over so many years, turned into like such a beautiful art form. Flamenco, extreme marginalization and poverty over so many years, turned into a worldwide phenomena that everyone wants to do. You know what I mean? And in Sola, your pain turned into, I'm assuming that's a lot of assumption, pain. These difficult times turned into a beautiful art piece. Like, there we go, art on all its levels.
Look, it's the beauty of having an arts practice. Is like,
yeah, and that's,
you know,
what we need.
Yeah.
So
it's a gift. The practice is a gift to me, 100%.
I agree with you, and I want to ask for one more gift.
Yeah.
I think you know what's coming. I would like to. Did the concept change during the pandemic? Last question. Yeah, good question. Did it change at all? Or was it already kind of in that vein?
The thematics of it were already there. The choreographies, the concepts for the 3 pieces were already there.
That's wild.
But
That's
the
wild.
and the 3 little windows that I picked were already there. But of course, the scope of it changed. Like we had a film, so yeah, it was a lot changed.
Oh, because you were gonna do it live, and instead now.
Yeah.
Ah, I see. There you go. That's a big change. So much more work to produce stuff. Oh my God, it's so much more work than doing something live. I find it's like a whole. It's crazy. Okay, so guys, I know you guys are gonna like this one. So everybody who's been tuning in, thank you so much, and everyone who's gonna watch this later, thank you so much for tuning in live. And before we let Sophie go, I want to ask, will you show us a sneak peek, or whatever you want, of any dance form or multiple dance forms? Show us what you got. Can you dance something for us? Even like smallest move, pose.
Okay.
You know, any of the levels you described.
I have one move that I'm gonna share with y'all.
I can't wait.
You can try it at home.
You do try it or don't try this at home?
No, do.
Oh, do. Okay.
Yeah,
just check
it. Videos of it. When you asked me if I would share a move, I was like, which one will I pick? And then I realized that this one.
I love it. Wait, we
like,
lost your audio. There you are.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. You're probably covering the mic when I say, Ale, guapa. I'm with Analia.
Can you
down
me?
On the ground. Oh
I'm going to go this way because of lighting.
I feel like I should do this.
Better?
Yeah. I'm going to try and go on the ground. Oh, let's see. Okay.
So,
go.
Go.
No, I mean, I'm talking to myself. I'm like, okay, go.
Working with flamenco on the ground, trying to bring some shapes and feelings to the ground. We're gonna call this the Sofi Crawl. If you can spot it not 1 but 2 times in Sola, I will personally call and congratulate you.
Okay, that's a challenge to everybody.
Yeah, challenge
to spot this.
See if you can find the crawl. So basically, I start on my knees.
All right.
And I put 1 foot out to the side this way.
Yeah, I'm challenging everyone. You better send selfies later.
Yep, you send your crawl selfies. Very attractive. Now what's going to happen is I send the weight of my pelvis basically shooting up and over this front foot so that my knee comes out this way. See that?
Oh, that feels good.
I know. You stretch out the back and the side, and then that back leg just like snakes into the other. And then
now you're making it hard.
This side to crawl over.
Oh, you need good knees for that. I fell on a bike in Seville 10 years ago.
Oh, no.
I lived on the Alameda, and I got a messed up knee. But it's okay. It's okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, everyone knows the Alameda. You can imagine the rest.
We created this step so that it could happen like while I was wearing the bata. So the idea is like to have the skirt kind of like trailing behind you.
Wow.
Right? And then you can add your arms to create, these shapes.
So I do feel like that's a very Sophie move.
Yes. Ole.
I'm waiting for everyone's videos.
Yes.
You better send them. You got me on the ground. I never go on the ground for dance. I'm like, I never do it, but you got me doing it.
It's definitely one of my dreams to like make a contemporary dance class just like for us.
For flamencos?
For flamencos in Toronto.
Do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I fully support. I'll be there. Beautiful. Yeah, Annalise is beautiful, but we want to see your video.
Yeah.
Same with you, Car Dot Man. Flamenco Sofi Crawl. SOS. Ale. I love that. Thank you so much. Anything else that we missed or that you want to tell people before we go?
Just that I'm so grateful for like the creative team that's like behind this project, and for the people in my support network at this time. And it's like absolutely. It's a solo work, but it's a village work as well. Credit where credit is due, and I really, really hope that people can enjoy watching this alone. If they live alone or in their bubbles alone. I really hope that they can. Hey, Cody.
I got excited because I was like, "It's Cody." Yeah, we got to revive that project too. So many good things to do. Oh my goodness, what are we ever gonna do?
I know.
So Cody, we just learned a move. We have to show it to you. Let's just show Cody so she can send it to us. It's the Sophia Flamenco Crawl. I don't have it as good. I just learned it.
You can do it. Let's
So
see.
like this?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, no, arms.
Arm. Ole.
All right, Cody, you got it? Yeah. We're waiting for your video. And next week, I just want to say before I go, next week, Leah's going to be interviewing Viv Moore, who's been a big dance presence here in the city. So come check that out. It's going to be awesome. 12 p.m. Toronto time, next Wednesday, right here on Fab Collab. And you can check out all our previous interviews here as well. And, lots of stuff coming up. We have a monthly show called Girls with Gear. That's on Bramble. And then our next Women in Song concert series is going to be this top secret. I'm just telling you guys now in July.
Amazing.
Probably in Scarborough. We'll tell you more.
Oh.
Ooh. All right, guys. Thank you so much, Sophie. Oh my God, I loved hanging out with you and seeing you.
What a treat.
Thanks everybody for being here. We'll see you next week. And don't forget, register for Sophie's show. I'm going to put the link. Have a good day.
Bye, ciao.
Bye, guapa.